This man has never been this quiet, and I want y'all to sit with that. He has never been this quiet, and it's getting scary.
And we are not afraid!
White America is finally catching on. Everybody talking about what's going on with his hand. His hand about to fall off. The man with the dead hand, everybody talking about it. I probably should have trademarked that motherfucking saying, but I'm so talented, I got so much more deep down on the inside, so we just getting started with that shit. I know for a good year and a half, maybe a year, I've been sounding the alarm on this deteriorating son of a bitch.
So is the motherfucker dead or not? Can we get some confirmation here? Huh?
What up, my beautiful black people? Welcome to Black People Politics Network. I'm Mr. Red. Over the weekend, I basically didn't have access to my phone or any type of social media. I know that's crazy to say in 2025, but that is the truth. So when I actually got back to my phone and I started trying to determine, hey, what are we going to talk about in this next week? Something strange happened. The man who lives for attention, who craves the spotlight more than oxygen itself, went silent. Donald J. Trump is missing in action. I did not know that shit. It was not on my bingo card for Labor Day weekend. This weekend, I expected there to be plenty of tweets and, news stuff that would have popped up, right? Because I was getting a few news things, but there was nothing about Donald Trump and his health or anything like that. To my surprise, on social media, photos started popping up that looked doctored. There was no rallies, there was no midnight rants, no true social posts, just quiet. And when Trump goes quiet, that's like Flavor Flav misplacing his clock. That shit don't happen. So we gotta ask ourselves, where is he? I know a lot of us don't want to ask that, but you can't help but wonder. Is he sick? Is he gone? And more importantly, what happens to America if Trump disappears tomorrow? Because this ain't just about one man's health. It's about what this country becomes when the chaos engine shuts down. That's if it shuts down. Today we're going to talk about it. Let's strap in. Let's get after it.
Top of the morning to y'all. So I wake up this morning, get on TikTok, and the internet is ablaze with speculation. Did it happen? Did it happen? Did it happen? We don't know, but I can tell you right now, the world certainly feels different. The air is cooler. The sun ain't hitting as hard as it usually do. There's a sense of peace and tranquility I haven't felt in years. I can't say for certain, and I don't have any facts, but my senses are telling me that a great evil has left this world.
Are you telling me the man who brags about everything from the size of his crowds to the size of his hands suddenly doesn't want to be seen? No, something's off. This man is a narcissist. We all know it. You don't even have to be a doctor. You can pretty much look this up, and it's all narcissistic traits. And this is something that we can, most of us generally agree on if you're willing to be objective. But this man loves himself. He loves to grandiose himself and put himself up on a pedestal and have everybody worship him. I don't know if you all have seen the recent clips where he was having the White House meetings and everybody was like, Mr. President, your greatness is greater than the greatest greatness. I mean, it really sounded like how people were talking about Elijah Muhammad, back in the Malcolm X movie, his greatest greatness. And the internet, y'all caught it quick. Folks saying that the photos look fake, skin tone is all wrong. Basically, he didn't even have hair under his, he wears a hat and you can see the hair. There was no hair. Did they shave his head, right? Normally, the dude has his hair looking like a wig from Party City.
The White House slipped today. They released a photo August 30th, 2025, and it resembles the same exact photo that was released by the Associated Press, Susan Walsh, September 28, 2019. You guys can look this up. This is an official photo. And in that photo, you have the same exact trucks parked back to back. It's black Suburbans parked back to back in the same exact spot with Donald Trump wearing the same exact red hat, white shirt, and blue pants walking out to go golfing. Now, I don't know if that's just his golfing attire, but what a crazy coincidence that The photos resemble so much of each other.
They were comparing it to other images of Donald Trump in his white hat, and they had noted that, well, where is his hair? In other notable images, even though Donald Trump is, I think, a strawberry blonde, you can actually still see his hair. And here's another example. His hair is pretty wispy and wild, so yeah, you could still see his hair. But in the zoomed in image, he's got no hair. Why? He looks incredibly sick. All jokes aside, all jokes necessary. But yeah, the dude looks, I'm like looking at the image like the dude looks sick. Now, what sparked the White House's need to, I guess, show proof of life happens to happen with the governor from Illinois by the name of J.B. Pritzker. Now, J.B. Pritzker had posted a repost because Donald Trump had made some defamatory statements about the city of Chicago. Now, J.B. Pritzker had replied back to that nonsense the president was saying. It says, why don't you send everyone proof of life first? And from there, it was up and it was stuck because it seems like the White House is scrambling to show us proof that the president is alive. And the images they do provide doesn't make it any better for him.
Let's keep it real. Trump is the type who'd fake his own picture just to prove that he's still alive and well. He would tell them to do that, and them fools would actually do it until they could come up with a contingency plan. And if they are recycling photos, that's panic mode setting in. Something is wrong. Something is amiss. And that's why we're talking about this. That's why we talked about it in my last video. But here we are again. Something is off.
There are reports coming out that about an hour ago, 3 Military One helicopters took off from the White House headed in the direction of Walter Reed National Memorial Hospital. Keep in mind that the Marine One helicopter is the helicopter that would be transporting the president. Also keep in mind that the William Reed National Memorial Hospital is where you know who would be going to hopefully you know what. So I am here to express my most heartfelt thoughts and prayers.
Now, if Trump actually kicks the bucket, it's actually no surprise to none of us because it's apparent that Trump wasn't a picture of health. I mean, we talking Big Macs, fried chicken. This dude was drinking Diet Cokes by the gallon. And the only workout he gets is when he waddles his ass from the golf cart to the tee. Or when he's, cheating on the golf course. One of those things. Something is wrong.
Well, unfortunately, Donnie is still among us. However, I can tell you right now, that man is not well at all. Like, take a second and think about it. This is the longest time in 10 years we have gone without seeing that man, hearing from that man, seeing a fucking Truth Social or Twitter post, nothing. It's been radio silence for damn near a week. That is not normal. And then they tried to pass off that fake ass photo from back in June as if it was over the weekend talking about he went golfing. Nigga, do you think we stupid? And then the icing on the cake of this whole shebang was that Vance came out of nowhere and was like, yeah, Trump is fine, but if I gotta take over, it's no problem. What, nigga? Huh?
And this dude now is 79 years old, been eating like shit the whole time. He didn't think it was gonna catch up with him with all this stress. I mean, listen, any normal person who actually was guilty of being on the Epstein list would crumble under that type of pressure. I mean, the weight of the presidency, as I talked about in our last video, that shit has had a detrimental effect on a lot of dudes, right? Really made them look terrible, just old looking and shit, old and tired. And you telling me that this man who's now been in office 2 times, wrongfully or rightfully, 2 times, that all these scandals and all of the people actually suffering, you don't think that's going to weigh down on them as it should?
If it's true, I will walk out like Voldemort did with Harry's body to Hogwarts. He's dead! In the same high-pitched, happy-ass voice. I ain't even playing.
It's not about wishing death on this man. Wink, wink. But you can't live reckless forever without the bill coming due. And Trump has been just a beacon of recklessness with his businesses. He's been a narcissist. He's only thought about himself. He's endangered lives. He's basically been a PD3PO, whatever, right? He's been one of them. We know it. We know that this dude hasn't lived a good life, and that's why he started talking about heaven, because he knew that they must have gave him some type of diagnosis that he was going to be done. He was going to be done. He knew this shit. You can't convince me otherwise. Trump has been the epitome of FAFO right now. The thing about it is, death doesn't play favorites. Death is the great equalizer, and Trump is about to find that out.
All right, here he is, guys. No need to panic. As you can see, he is not dead. Just gonna go play a regular game of golf. All right, here we are signing another executive order. Oh yeah, good signature, Don. Good signature.
President Trump, are you still going to send troops to Chicago?
Crime is still a big issue for Donald Trump, and we will send the troops down to Chicago. He also said I need a raise. Let's give a round of applause for our president.
Now this is it, and Trump is gone. Oh, the world is going to celebrate. Markets spike, leaders sigh in relief, and social media, it's going to be a block party. Here in America, Republicans don't fear death. They fear losing control of the voters. And they should lose control, and they should have fear, because what they do and what they have done to this country is nothing short of disastrous, nothing short of treasonous, okay? Really take a look at what's been done and how they've made it where the social safety net programs that you and I paid into will not be able to protect us. If that's not fighting against Americans, then I don't know what is.
The only problem I'm gonna have with Trump checking the fuck out and going back to hell where he came from, the only one real problem. One of these dickheads is gonna say he's still alive. Somebody gonna say, and Trump came to me in a dream. Oh, they gonna deify him. Them motherfuckers gonna talk about he came back like Jesus. They gonna be talking about Trump like Elvis.
But the chess pieces are not in place for there to be any sort of movement or any sort of momentum after he's out of the picture. JD Vance can come off of those vacations and be like, oh, I'm ready to step up if need be. That's not what anybody is looking for. And some of you may have seen the reports that there is already a Game of Thrones like power struggle taking place among the cabinet members. How many times have we been saying it? Cults don't just move on. Cults don't just continue when the leader is no longer in the picture.
Trump was the Republicans' Pied Piper, and without him, those rats are going to scatter. Mark my words, they're going to come on there, and they're going to give condolences, and then they're going to try to find a way to distance themselves, and some of them are going to try to angle to take the spot that Trump was, and they're going to act just like he did. They're going to try to be Trump-like, but the thing is, they can't do it. They can't be like Trump, no matter how racist and how xenophobic and homophobic and all these damn phobias that they have. They're going to try to be just like him. But the reason why Trump kept getting the wins is because they couldn't do it like he does. We look through them and it's not the same.
Their boss, the bully in chief, is not there to essentially be the shield that protects everybody else from the vitriol that's going to come. Then that means a lot of people need to be figuring out their exit strategies. They need to be figuring out what life is going to look like now that they are not under this umbrella of protection that they thought was going to last forever.
Hey, I'm just giving y'all an update of what's going on in Washington, D.C., man. Look, it's Labor Day. I don't think I really remember, like, any type of Labor Day parade or anything, but getting to the point, they have the White House blocked off for blocks. Like, you can't even get within a 1-block radius of the White House. Once you come past the World War II Memorial, all the streets near the White House are blocked off. I don't know what's the reason for all the extra security near the White House. They already got the National Guard in town right now.
Now, something came across my mind and has come across the minds of other people on social media is we need to talk about DC. Why is the White House barricaded off like it's prepping for Judgment Day? I mean, I really want you to think about it. Since Trump put troops into DC and he surrounded the White House in barricades, this also coincided around the time where people started questioning Trump's health. You can't tell me that everything is fine when you got blocks locked down around the people's house, the White House. And that's what authoritarian regimes do. When the dictator gets sick or dies, the first move is always control the narrative. Keep the people guessing, manage the panic. And Fox has been really good about this, but this is going to be the one time where it's going to be a hard sell for them to the American people that everything is okay. And what are they going to do afterwards? How are they going to spin it afterwards? I want you all to start listening for that. What are they hiding? Fear of riots? Fear of the truth? Or maybe they just don't want us to see the chaos until they pick the spin that they want to put in our minds. See, when Trump used to say fake news, what he was really saying was, the news that doesn't flatter me isn't the real news.
They say this man is giving a press conference tomorrow in the Oval Office. Let me tell you, they have probably pumped him up with every kind of medicine known to man. They will be wheeling him into that office because I'm sure he will be sitting down. This dude is going to talk about how we have the hottest country in the world and he stopped a bunch of wars. I mean, it's going to be the usual. It's going to be the hits. And then at the end of it, he's going to sign some executive order that says nobody can talk about the president's health. Get ready. The next few days is going to be anybody talking about how sick the president does not care about America.
And we know his propaganda machine is going to do all they can to keep the jubilation down. They're going to say that if Trump does pass away and you decide to celebrate for it, then something's wrong with you. They're going to tell you how you're depraved and you're a sick bastard, but they're never going to talk about the things that Trump has done to make people not want him around. And then how do you justify that the world is going to be celebrating, right? You have to be a goddamn terrible person for the world to celebrate that you're not going to be here. You have to be a sick bastard when the majority of the country rightfully is going to be glad that you're gone, and Fox will spin it, Republicans will spin it. I say never let those bastards forget.
If that man ain't gone, he for sure is on his way there, because there's just no way. There's no way. So I say we just vibe out. Let's just vibe out. We're going to get the notification any day now. I don't know how long it's going to take, but he's either gone or severely sick. And he can't avoid the press for 3 years. So I say let's just vibe.
3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. You know, I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. And no, I've been very active, actually, over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff.
Anyone that buys that, I got a bridge in Timbuktu to sell you. The man is sick. He's demented. Blaming the media when all he could have done, all he had to do was basically show up and prove to everybody that he was alive and well, and then to bring up President Joe Biden. What kind of sick stuff is this?
My beautiful black people, whether Trump is alive, sick, or already gone, one thing is for certain: this man has been pure chaos for America. He divided us, he emboldened hate, and he nearly broke democracy, if it's not already broken and done. But if this chapter is closing, we can't sit back and wait for the next con man to pick up the script. Republicans made this bed, and they're going to try to wash their hands clean, and we cannot let them. This is bigger than one man. This is whether America learns from its mistakes or falls for the same hustle 3 times. If you've never believed in elections and voting before, it is more important now that you register to vote and then that you exercise that right to vote. They've been grifting off this man for the last 9 years. He's been the biggest grifter, and they've allowed it. Then we need to never let them forget their key reason against this country. For us that truly love it and want to see it do better.
If it is happening, that means he did all of this just so he wouldn't spend the last 9 months of his life in jail. And that's petty as fuck.
Stay vigilant, stay engaged, stay revolutionary.